Peace and power, family. It's your brother Baba Amin, Ojuwoke of the Uhuru Academy. I got the Pharaohs with me. We're at the University of Texas at Arlington today. We're going to speak in the Black Studies class of Dr. Safisha Hill, a warrior scholar who brings the truth to all her students. So we're excited about it. The babies get to experience the college campus. Might pull a couple of interns out of there today, too. Black power. All right, how's everybody feeling today? Y'all good? Yup. Classes start till 9:30. You had all morning. Get yourself together. Get your coffee, your breakfast, that sort of thing. My name is Baba Amin Ojuwoke. Everyone just calls me Baba Amin. Baba is a title, simply means father, leader. Amin is a Swahili name, which means a trustworthy friend. I am the founder of the Uhuru Academy. Uhuru Academy is Fort Worth's first and only private African-centered school. What we mean by African-centered schools is that we teach everything at our school from an African perspective. All right. And for example, you remember going to school, you learned about history from a white male perspective, right? White males were your heroes. They were the main characters. Those were the kings you learned about, the queens you learned about. You learned it through the eyes of Europe, then through the eyes of white people in America. Correct? Well, at the Uhuru Academy, we teach world history, too. We just teach it through the eyes of the African, right? So that takes you really to the beginning of humanity because that's where humanity began, right? So even in everything we do, even in math, we teach math through the eyes of the African contributions to mathematics. Science, the African contributions to science. Social studies, language, writing. That way our children take ownership of everything they learn. Anybody ever did good in school and they say, "Ooh, you acting white"? Yeah, I experienced that. You know, I was a very good student growing up. Well, not in the very beginning. in my elementary school years, I was a little hellion, you know, little nappy afro running around, fighting and talking crazy to my teachers and all that. But my mom got a job in the public library, though. And they were talking to my mother. It was like, you know, he needs to be in special ed. Yeah, I'll admit that. They thought I needed to be in special ed and all that because I was a very active child. My mom got this job in the library. We didn't have a lot of toys at home, so Mama would bring home books. Whenever the library threw out books, she would bring the books to the house. Now, that wasn't legal, but, you know, it is what it is, all right? Her baby was in need, all right? But she would bring home books, man, and we would play school, you know? And I started reading these books, and that's how I got interested in reading, and it helped me as a student. A combination of butt whoopings and books thrown out of the library, right? Got me ready, and I began to excel in school. And I remember being pulled to the side a lot growing up. Man, you special because you dark skinned and you make good grades. You smart and you dark. We gonna look out for you. I remember my teachers telling me that. Like, we got to watch out for you because you good and you black and you're dark skinned. I just get that all the time. Friends used to bug me sometimes, man, you acting white. You acting white because you going to class every day. You do this, you acting white, you know. And I still had a little hellion in me. So when you told me I was acting white, you had a fight on your hands. You know, I was a nerd, but I was a hood nerd. It's a difference, all right? A good difference. The hood nerd will bring it to you, right? But I remember getting that a lot. And I remember thinking or assuming, I was like a little philosopher. And I remember assuming all the time that, you know, God had to be white. Jesus was white. Every picture I ever saw of Jesus was white. God had to be white. In my picture Bible, Adam and Eve were what? They was white, so that means the first people on the planet was white, right? So that means everything that was built, everything that was established in the beginning was established by white people, right? And the only Africans I ever saw was on Tarzan, right? I would watch Tarzan when I was young, and Tarzan, king of the jungle, big old handsome white man, right? He could talk to animals, they come to him, all that. Tarzan had his white wife, Jane, and then their son named Boy. And then they had that was his son. His son was named Boy. And then they had a chimpanzee for a friend, for a pet. And every week, the Africans would kidnap Jane Boy, put him in a pot, and they was going to eat him, right? And every week, Tarzan would swing in on them Africans. You know, Africans had bones in their nose, and face paint. They were primitive. They couldn't talk, right? And every week, Tarzan would swing in and whoop about 50 Africans. They speed the camera up and them Africans be running to Tarzan just whooping them like this. Then Tarzan would call the elephant, and the elephant come in and run over 50 Africans. And the animals didn't like the Africans. Tarzan didn't like the Africans. And guess who else didn't like the Africans? Me. I didn't like the Africans. Better not call me no African. An African? No way. Then the only other time I saw Africans was late at night on the infomercial. Starving. Couldn't knock the flies off of them. I know I ain't one of them. I just ate some cornbread. You know what I'm saying? I just ate some. I'm well fed. I know I ain't that. That's the only other time I saw an African. So I wasn't no African. Even though at that time they was teaching us that we were African Americans. But they never really told us about the African part. When they said African American, I figured it was Afro American. They was just talking about our hair. That's where the African part came, because we got nappy hair. So Afro American, African, okay, cool. But I never connected it to what? To Africa. No. I knew I was going to make it one day in spite of being black. I was going to move out, get me a light-skinned to white wife, because I wanted to have babies with good hair. But that was my goal. At the top of my class in an all-black high school called Paul Lawrence Dunbar. That was my goal. Man, I was going to be an engineer, going to get me a light skin to white. Okay? Won't get nobody dark like me. I ain't going to do that to my children. Huh? But that was my attitude. I got to overcome. I ain't going to do this to my children, make them black with nappy hair like me. I had me some babies with some good hair. I graduated near the top of my class, got a full academic scholarship to Wiley College, HBCU, right? I was like, yeah, it was all good. I'll go to this HBCU because I knew I was going to excel because I've always been smarter than other black kids. What? So I didn't choose the HBCU out of black pride. I didn't have black pride at that time. I chose HBCU because I knew I ain't had no competition. That was my mindset because I was a special Negro. So I get to the HBCU, academic scholarship, Wiley College, and I go in and I'm taking linear algebra because math was my favorite subject. I'm taking linear algebra, calculus, and statistics all at the same time my freshman year, first semester, out the gate, boom, right? Then they tell me I need an elective. So I was like, okay, I'll look down the elective list, and here's this class, Intro to Black Studies, right? So I said, oh, Harriet Tubman, Dr. King, water fountain, we out. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Back of the bus, Harriet Tubman, we good. I got this. I know black history. I'm black, right? Well, come midterm, I'm making an A in linear algebra. I'm making an A in calculus. I'm making an A in statistics, an A in my speech class, and a big fat F in black history. Intro to Black Studies. Blacker than a million midnights and can't pass black history. I messed around and got a real teacher, though. The professor, his name was Dr. A.J. Stovall, right? And when I got in his class, I went and got the textbook and I was tripping because the textbook was called Intro to Black Studies by Dr. Maulana Karanga, and it was like this thick. And I said, we ain't did this much. All this is about the back of the bus. I said, we ain't did this much. Right? So I'm like, dude, it's tripping. I opened the book and I'm talking ancient African civilizations. And what? Due to the question at the end of the chapter, oh my goodness, write an essay on black people? So I'm resisting this class. Like this dude is just really obnoxious. This don't even make sense. Then I get in there and he's like, oh, we're going to read 3 books this semester. Read book. This the book? We got a book, bruh. We got a book. We had to read the autobiography of Malcolm X. We had to read The Miseducation of the Negro, right? And we had to read Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, right? Now, in order to keep my scholarship, I had to maintain a 3.5 GPA, right? So after my little resistance was over, he like, Parker, have you started the reading? I was raised Stephen Parker. Have you started the reading? No, I ain't started nothing. I did the chapter questions. I ain't reading no book, you know what I'm saying? All right, here you go, mid-grade. Here you go. Hold on to that F. So I said, well, I got to buckle down and start reading. So I read the autobiography of Malcolm X first. I didn't even know who Malcolm X was. The movie wasn't out yet. No, see, y'all generation, y'all got some Malcolm. I didn't get no Malcolm growing up. In an all-black neighborhood, in an all-black school, I didn't know who Malcolm X was. So I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. And I read about what his parents were going through. I read about his father being a Garveyite, which had to mark that. What was a Garveyite? And his mother writing for a black paper called The Negro World. And I'm reading about how they murdered, how they laid his father over railway tracks and ran over his father with a streetcar simply because he was trying to organize black people to own their own land, open up their own stores. He wasn't planning a terrorist attack. He was just organizing black people. And whoa, what? That happened? Then I read about Malcolm, how his family fell apart after his father was killed. And I'm thinking, man, you know, my family kind of fell apart when my daddy left. I can identify with that. And how when he was sitting there and talking to his teacher saying he wanted to be a lawyer because he ended up moving with his sister in Lansing, Michigan, and he was going to an integrated school, right? And he was at the top of his class. He was telling his teacher, I want to be a lawyer one day. And his teacher said, Malcolm, Negroes don't become lawyers. Why don't you do something good for a Negro like be a carpenter? And you read how Malcolm left school after that. Started working as a porter on the train, and that allowed him to travel, and he ended up in New York. And he ended up hitting the streets in New York, right? And getting into the gangster life, right? And then reading how he hooked up with a couple of white girls, and he had them breaking into white people's houses. You know, he's taking advantage of prejudice. You see, you want to, I don't want to teach y'all that. All right, but anyway, he was taking advantage of race prejudice. And he had these white girls scouting houses, and he was robbing these houses, him and his friend Shorty, and how when they all got caught, they got to court together, the white girls claimed they made us do it, right? And Malcolm got sent to prison for 7 years. All this is tripping me out because I ain't know that life was like that for black people at that time, right? So I'm calling my mama throughout the process, mama. My mama was born in Abilene, Texas in 1936, so she saw a little racism, right? My mama, well, God bless her soul, she would be 81 this year, right? But my mama, I called her, Mama, was it really like this? My mama said, yeah. I said, Mama, why y'all ain't never really talked to us about that? She said, because we don't want y'all to live it, so I'm not going to talk. See, when I grew up, it was kind of like the integration generation. Our parents were just coming off the civil rights movement, the black power movement, and that sort of thing. In a lot of black households, we didn't talk about race. You didn't talk about it. Y'all don't have to worry about that. You just go to school. So I got to college, and I didn't know about any of this stuff, right? My frame of reference was thrown way off, right? But my mom was like, yeah, you know, we used to go to school. If we didn't go a certain route at a certain time, you know, we would disappear. What? Yeah. I had friends that I never saw again because they were late to school and there was a certain field they had to go through that once white folks get up and moving around, if you get caught in that field, you done. Ain't nobody coming to look for you. They had to do that just to get to school. Like, Mom, it was like that. Yeah. So reading the autobiography of Malcolm X changed me. His redemption. When he read the dictionary from cover to cover in prison. Came out, joined the Nation of Islam under the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and we know the rest. He became one of the most renowned lecturers, speakers, and black leaders of all time. I started thinking like, man, maybe it might be something to this black thing. We might be all right after all. If this brother can be at the bottom and bring himself up and become one of the most renowned, he up at Harvard, out debating Harvard scholars. He dropped out in the sixth grade dropout. He debating Harvard scholars and winning. Oh, man, ain't nothing we can't do. What? Then I read Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James, where he proved beyond a shadow of doubt that there's no such thing as Greek philosophy. All Greek philosophy was stolen from ancient Kemet, ancient Egypt. Of course, I was thinking the Egyptians wasn't black, though. Well, have you ever seen a black Egyptian in a movie?
Not in a movie, no.
That's something. Oh, absolutely. But I didn't know that at 18. No one had gave me that frame of reference. I knew the Prince of Egypt. Pictures from the what? Pictures from the Bible. The Cleopatra movies with Queen Elizabeth in them. So the Egyptians weren't black. And George G.M. James proved otherwise. Then I started getting into other books by other scholars, like Dr. Yosef Ben Yakinen, Dr. John Henrik Clark, right? Jonathan Jackson. I started reading these books, and they proved Sheikh Anta Diop, which is one of Kefri's favorite scholars. And man, brothers been fighting and proving who we were for years, for decades. We just didn't know about it. Well, I came out that class. Oh, I made an A in the class, by the way. Oh, man, once that light bulb came on, my math grades dropped, though. Once the light bulb came on, I'm like, oh, I'm all in this thing now. I started my first organization. When I get into something, I really get into it. My first organization was called SOUL. SOUL. Students Organized for Unity and Liberation. That's fly, ain't it? Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, though. I was kind of into it, but mostly it was a girlfriend getting to it. Yeah, I was young, okay? Once I saw the girls was impressed, I'm like, yeah, you want to join SOUL? I ain't recruiting no dudes. But anyway. See, at this time, crack was devastating our community. See, I have an advantage that some of y'all don't have, most of y'all don't have. I remember a black community without crack in it. You remember one? I remember a black community where you still had your issues, but you can keep your screen door open, door unlocked. I remember a black community, man, we ride our bikes and be outside playing and ripping and running all day long and protected, safe, and we good. But I also remember when crack came. And I remember seeing people that I grew up looking up to fall victim to this drug, to this disease. See, now we've been so desensitized. When we see somebody on drugs, we just say, look, a dope fiend. But see, when you're getting introduced to it, brother, you know their name. You don't call them a dope fiend. Man, that's Sarah. Man, that's Mr. Johnson. Man, that's Miss Lula. See, it's different when you know their name. See, a part of desensitizing somebody is putting, the desensitization is putting a label on something so you don't have to feel their humanity. You see what I'm saying? So I remember the humanity inside of our community. So when I got a hold of our history, and at the same time I'm having friends go to the penitentiary, I'm having friends getting killed in the streets, people that I left behind. I went to school, I got out because the goal was to grow up and get out the hood. Look, it wasn't reinvest in the hood, was it? It wasn't come back buy a house in the hood, was it? It wasn't come back and build a business inside the hood. What was the goal? Get out the hood. Well, how can you have a goal to get away from it, then be concerned about it? Does that make sense? Our goal is to get away from it, then get away from it and say, but I give back. I give back. I go and I spend a little time and I talk to kids and say, I made it out. You can too. But where were we going when we got out? Were we going to build a new black community? Get out that hood, we building a fresh black community over here. Was that the goal? No. Where are we going when we got out? Gonna find the nearest group of white people we can find. They'll accept us and we'll live. I live out in South Lake now. We were the first black family in Roanoke. Oh, yeah. And you experience racism out there, but that's all right. We're going to keep fighting because we're brave. They painted the N-word on my garage, but I'm not going anywhere. And we're taught in school, those are our heroes. Those are our heroes. At the same time, what's happening to the community around us? It's disassembly. It's falling apart. It's falling apart around us. We dying. We going to the penitentiary. We fall into poverty. The jobs are what? Leaving. Right? I started to see that once I learned my history. Once I learned our story, I started to see it because it rehumanized my own people to me. Y'all know how black people talk sometimes, how we talk sometimes, like we not black too. Excuse the N-word, niggas, they be tripping. Black folks got to get it together. You be saying that? I don't like black people. You ain't the only one in here. It's somebody else that done said that too. I can't stand black folks. I can't stand black folks. Right? We say it as a joke. We say it when we serious. But we say it, don't we? Don't we say that? Ooh, I don't like black people. And once I learned my history, I just wanted to raise my hand and say, you black. Like, does that count you? Yeah, black men. I can't stand black women. Don't say nothing about my mama, though. Huh? Don't say nothing about my mama. I can't stand black women. I don't respect nobody else's black mama. Don't say nothing about my black mama. But you disrespecting every other black mama. And what make you think another black man ain't disrespecting yours? Or your sister? But this psychosis, where does this come from? This desire to step outside of ourselves, to be something else, to be an exclusive Negro. I'm black, but I ain't like them. And then we come up with sub words to go with the N word, right? Oh, you don't want me to say nigga? I'll say ratchet. I'll say ghetto. I'm ghetto. You ratchet. You ghetto. That ain't nothing but the N word reform. That's all it is. And I have to separate myself because I really don't know who I am. Everything you learn about black people is everything prejudiced white people learn about black people. That's why you more prejudiced than them. Nobody discriminate against black people as much as black people do. Stop me when I'm wrong. Come here, boy, with that nappy. Ooh, that boy got nappy hair. That boy hair nappy, but your sister got good hair. And she get the ice cream first. They do too. I done been in families. Dark skin, light skin do the same crime. Light skin get a different kind of punishment than dark skin. Light skin get, come on over. You all right, girl. I understand. Dark skin, get your ugly tail up in there. I had a friend. He had a light skinned brother, little brother. He was dark skinned brother. They called his light skinned brother was Lil D. His nickname in the family was Ugmo. His name was Ugmo. He was dark. He ain't had good hair. But I seen it flip too. I seen light skin get treated bad for being light skinned. You think you better than us because you light skinned. You think you white, don't you? You didn't get a chance to open your mouth yet. You just light skinned. We don't, Where does that come from? Right? So seeing all of these dynamics, seeing my friends join gangs, like become a Blood and become a Crip, and like I'm from Texas, right? Fort Worth, Texas. That stuff didn't start here. That stuff started in LA, right? So at that time when it's fresh, only thing we knew about Crips and Bloods was the movie Colors. That's what I learned about Crips and Bloods, right? But then when they started branching out, when the brothers and sisters started branching out from the West Coast and going to new cities, they came to Fort Worth too. And we had people joining and becoming a part of these street organizations, of these gangs, Crippin' and Blood. And I'm like, where does that come from? Like, you 5 Deuce Hoover, but Hoover Street ain't even in Fort. We don't even have a Hoover Street.
They swear it's in the South, though.
And it perplexed me because I'm like, we giving up our Fort Worth identity to take on this popular gang identity. But at the same time, I understand now, if you don't have an identity, someone will provide one for you. When you don't have a strong cultural foundation, when you begin your history in slavery, because in school, I didn't learn nothing about black people before slavery. So when you don't learn nothing about yourself before slavery, raise your hand if you want your legacy to be slavery. Nobody? That's not your legacy. That's not our legacy. And when I found out that we had thousands upon thousands of years of legacy before slavery, it changed my whole paradigm as to who we are. Slavery was just a commercial in our history. This little 400-year stretch right here, man, that ain't nothing. We had golden ages in Africa that lasted thousands of years. Matter of fact, in ancient Kemet, Kush, and Nubia, we had 4 golden ages. 4 gold. I mean, a golden age is a period where you have peace, prosperity, and creativity. Our ancestors had 4 of them. Most don't get 1. When I realized that we wrote books and scriptures on the wall thousands of years before the Greeks wrote their first book, the Iliad, the Odyssey, that came around 200 and something BC, Africans been writing since time immortal. We don't even know when we started writing. But we got stuff we know that dates back as late as 3200 BC, 5,000 years BC. That's older than the Iliad and the Odyssey, ain't it? So when you excel in reading and writing, I say, oh, I ain't acting white, I'm acting African. So ain't nobody written and wrote more than African people. And even black people in America, some of the things that you call ratchet is really our genius. Think about it. Your ancestors don't come from England. Ain't that where the English language comes from? Well, your ancestors don't come from England, right? But when we speak, like I say, I wake up and I go, hey, babe, I'm about to go down to the store. Not the store. I'm going down to the store. I talk like that, okay? I'm just letting y'all know. Now, if I'm in an interview or if I'm in a meeting, I speak business language. But when I'm at home, I speak black English. I speak African English, what I call African English. What I call it? But because we began our legacy with slavery, everything you do from a frame of reference of a slave. You think you borrowed everything. So you think you're doing it wrong. You're not thinking that I'm a different type of people from a different type of culture, so I'm going to speak the language in a different kind of way. You're thinking, no, our goal is to speak like them. And when we are not able to speak like them, that means we're inferior. Does that make sense? No, you speak black English. When your ancestors were saying, we need to go on down yonder. Go on down yonder, and fetch some turnip greens. They weren't being dumb. They were being linguistic geniuses because going down yonder feels better and sounds better. And you know what I'm saying, don't you? Huh? Yeah. And we sit up and we're ashamed of our language, and you look up on TV and they be using the words. We'll introduce new words. I remember back then they was like, man, we chilling, man. How you doing? We chilling. Right? See, I remember when chilling was born. Y'all wasn't there, okay? We chilling. And people would come up to us. I'm a little smart, nerdy friend. Chilling, you're cold. They make fun of it. Chilling, you chill wine. They would make fun of it, right? But no. See, in Africa, we know how to take one word and give it 10 meanings. When you study the Medu Netta, which they call hieroglyphics, we call Medu Netta. Each Medu Netta symbol got about 3-4 meanings, depending on how it's used, where it's used, and when it's used. You got to hear the inflection in the voice, the whole 9 yards, right? But we still do that. We still take one word and it has multiple meanings. The wine is chilling in the bucket. Man, I'm just chilling with my homies. Right? All right. But you really need to be chilling out. Right? Now, that's not ignorance. That's genius. And the other folk that mad, they didn't think of it first. And we've mastered this language, and very few people have introduced more words into the English language as black people. Then we brought some African words with us that we just never let go. We still don't say mom on a wide scale basis. What do we say? Mama. Mama. Like when you ain't thinking about it really, like when you say mom or mom, you thought about it first. But when you just hungry, Mama, what we eat? Mama, you going to the store? And we don't just say mama, we sing mama. 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 You say I changed it to, when you say it the second time, mama. The first always, mama. That's to get her attention. If she don't say nothing, mama. Y'all know you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, Then she thought, I hear you. Be quiet. Hush. Be quiet. I heard you calling me. You don't want nothing but something to eat. I can tell by the way you said, mama. That means you want something. Yeah. Well, mama is a Swahili word. That's not something that black people made up on the plantation. That's an ancient African word for mother. It's a word that we never let go. But if you don't know, when we start our history with slavery, we think you saying mama cause you ghetto. You saying mama cause you an African, and you kept some of those words. When we nickname our people Day Day, Bobo, you being an those are African linguistics. They ain't ghetto. That's African, right? And see, you don't know exactly where you come from Africa, but you are naturally an African, right? So even though we took on European names like Sarah, Janie, it didn't stick with us then. You looked up after slavery and you had like John. We would name them after people in the Bible. Esther, you had those names, right? After people in the Bible. But after a while, we started getting a little sense of self, and Aquisha was born. Now, one day a black woman said, that's Quisha. Yeah, Dantrell. Davion Monte. Right? Then them loves, LaCretia, Letitia, Lanisha. Right? Then we started doing the babies with the same first letter in their names. Right? That's Shauna, Shantae, and Shane. You know what I'm saying? Shauna, and Shantae. Right? Davion, Dantrell, and Donisha. I just like to do all of these, woo-de-woo, right? And we are, whoop-de-whoop. See, little stuff like that. But you know what I mean, don't you? Whoop-de-whoop. Right? See, language is power. But you don't understand the power in your language if you don't understand who you are. We've been taught to be ashamed of that. You can't put Daquan on no resume. And get high. You need to get that baby a name, but that baby can get a job. And then we'll say, that's just ghetto, that's this. But it's not. When we started creating our own names, that was us seeking an identity. That was us saying, even in our subconscious, I'm not a European. Would you name your black child Ernesto? Huh? Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? As an African American, why wouldn't you name your baby Ernesto? Roll the R with it and everything, Ernesto. Why wouldn't you do that? Oh, okay. Well, would you name him Chang? Why? Okay. But then why do we use Robert? I know you do. Why do we use James? William? George? Why do we use these names? These names come from places too, don't they? Don't these names come from particular places? Huh? Those are European names. And why do we use those names historically? Is it because we're European? No. It's because we were brought into a system, a slavery system, that not only enslaved us, but cut us off from who we were. There was no black history class on the plantation. You can't enslave a people who know they come from royalty. You can't enslave a people who know that they built civilizations. So those first few years, those first few decades of slavery was very tense because they had Africans who remembered Africa. And one of the main things that they would do would be to separate the children from the adults. If you remembered Africa, I kept you away from them because I'm about to teach them a whole new reality. You're not going to be able to tell them, yes, before the white people came, we were Ashanti. And we had been defeating the British for over 100 years. They finally broke us because they converted some of us to Christianity, and the ones who converted to their religion helped them. But they never beat us without our help. And your job is to get free. I can't have you teaching them that. I'm going to separate them from you, and I'm going to control everything they learn. Next time you see him, he won't even love you anymore. Next time you see him and you start talking that African mumbo jumbo, It's good to see you again, Mustafa. Don't call me Mustafa. I was christened. My name is Vincent now. No, Mustafa. Mustafa means strong warrior. No. Vincent was an angel. And if you call me that, you're going to hell. And Mama, I want to save you. If you just stop being an African heathen and accept Christianity and Jesus in your life. And he shows you a picture of this white man that's God now. You can go to heaven. But if you don't accept it, you deserve whatever you get. You're going straight to hell. And I can't help you. Mustafa, we talking about escaping. No, Master just gave me a job. I'm an overseer now. And I have to go report that you're escaping because God doesn't like that. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. This is what happens when you separate the child from the parents and you teach the child a new paradigm. When as soon as that child can understand speech, somebody white is in their face saying, God loves you. And he wants to save your soul. Let me show you who God is. Who is this? God. Who is this? God. Who is this? God. Exactly.
And the dark one is who?
The devil. That dark image this is Satan. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not saying Jesus ain't the Messiah. That's fine. You have a right to believe in whatever Messiah you believe in. But what I make that Messiah look like to you and what I tell you that a Messiah wants you to do from the time that you're a child is going to shape your reality. Does that make sense? Because when they came and they found African people, you know what Africa's nickname, what the world's nickname was for Africa during the Middle Ages? I'm talking the 1200s, 1300s, 1400s. They called Africans the religious people. Non-Africans. Because whenever you came into the continent, no matter what civilization you ran into, they were always spiritual people. Always spiritual. Now, they'll try to tell you Africans didn't believe in no God. Man, Africans believed in uber gods. Everywhere you went, hold on, you cannot chop down the tree without thanking the creator for the tree. Everywhere you went, hold on, we can't slaughter this animal without thanking nature for this animal's life. Isn't that spirituality? Everywhere you went, can we use your lake? That's not my lake, that's God's lake. Of course. So we got a reputation of being very giving and very gullible because we had principles that we live by. So when they enslaved us, they knew you were susceptible to religious manipulation because you're a spiritual person by nature. All they had to do was flip the script and give you a God that says, no, you're supposed to be my slave. Now, I couldn't tell you that because you got kidnapped and put on the ship. You're going to keep fighting. You know this ain't right. But when he's born, he don't remember a slave ship, does he? So I can teach him whatever I want to teach him. I taught some of them how to read, but I'm going to teach them how to read the Bible. And I'm really going to teach them in particular this one verse that says, if someone smites you on your cheek, turn and allow them to smite you on the other. Then I'm going to take them to a verse that says, read this, you serve your master. It's slave, obey your master. See, that's in the Bible too. You see what I'm saying? Now go teach the others the rise of the black preacher. Now that has shaped and molded your minds. You don't remember African. Now you want God to accept you. Now you cool with being a slave. And you know that if you be a good slave, you can go to heaven. So now go out, good slave, and teach all these heathen slaves how to get to heaven. And I come out there and I say, boy, what you doing on that phone? You know you're supposed to be picking cotton right now. Is you trying to go to hell? Mouse, there's something wrong with that boy right there. He wearing his hair different. Something wrong with that boy right there. He grew too much hair up on his chin. He's rebelling, Mouse. He might need a little orientation. Now, does that sound familiar though? Our community's still kind of like that, ain't it? We still kind of like that, ain't it? Trayvon Martin get killed. Everybody, ooh, I'm tired of this. I'm sick of this. Here comes the preacher. Calm down. God is going to handle it. On the plantation. We tired of this. We finna burn Master house down. We're going to kill everybody in the house. I'm tired. We finna get free. Here come the ones that was raised by. Calm down. God don't like violence from nobody. Except white people. Don't burn the house down. Didn't I get you some extra sugar cane that time? Didn't I go in there and the master let us off early for Christmas? See, we're making progress. But if y'all keep acting wild like that, they gonna keep doing what they doing. They do it to you now. They say, did you vote? When you start, if you didn't vote, you can't complain. Y'all ain't never heard that? That's a calm down tactic. That's a tactic to get you to calm down, like you don't deserve freedom unless you vote. Here's my favorite one. We can't talk about them killing us while we killing each other. Y'all heard that one? Raise your hand and tell me one ethnic group that don't kill each other. I'll wait. No, nobody? You can't think of one ethnic group that doesn't kill each other. Nobody. Why we got to be the first in order to deserve justice? Why do black people got to be the first group of people on the planet to not kill each other? Because you know we be the first on the planet. Why do we have to be the first completely nonviolent group before my son won't get shot by a police officer for having a toy gun in his hand? Why do we got to be the first group to eradicate violence completely amongst each other before we deserve justice? Can anybody answer me that? That's another tactic off that plantation. Just to calm you down. To shame you. Master used to say stuff like, how y'all gonna want to get off early? We were supposed to do 60 bales of cotton yesterday. We did 45. Oh, you want freedom? But look how he's beating his woman. Look how you treat each other. If I set you free, you're just gonna kill each other. You don't think they used to say that? There are a lot of things that we think are black traits that are just human traits. You know, number one reason why black people kill black people? That's who we live next door to. No, there's no other reason. You know, number one reason why Mexican people kill Mexican people? They live next to each other. Proximity. You know why white people kill white people? I'm not here to debate. Proximity. And you know white on white crime is more prevalent than black on black crime? And you know what tripped me out when the media was highlighting the violence against police officers, right? I mean, the violence against black people from police officers. And then you had Michael Johnson and the incident in Dallas where he actually shot at police officers and killed police officers. They went hunting for more stories of black people shooting police, right? And they couldn't find none. I remember they put one story up on CNN. It was a man named Dwayne something in Detroit that got loose in the courtroom and killed 3 officers, right? His name was Dwayne, right? CNN put it on the front page. Then his picture came out. It was a white boy named Dwayne. They took it off. It was gone by that afternoon. Wrong complexion. 80% of our police officers that's been killed in the past 2 years been killed by white people. They be letting loose on police. Huh? Texas Tech just had one.
But they don't even incriminate him or make him look bad at all. It's just a tragedy and they feel bad for everything.
Yeah.
But he's not. They don't like put a picture up and make him look bad or anything.
Of course not. Now, if I kick a cop in the leg, I'm going to be on the news tomorrow. If I kick a cop, and what they do is they ask, why? Why? What drove him to, turns out his dad left him early and his mom was in an abusive relationship. Why? So you're like, that was horrible, but now you kind of, I understand. He was troubled. It was society at large. He was frustrated. He couldn't get a job. See, it was affirmative action. Even when they do it, it's your fault. Right? But you have no leg to stand on because we don't have the history. You can't rebuttal if you don't know how we got here. You understand what I'm saying? If you think you're a nigger and you come from slaves, you can't debate with a white nationalist that's ready to tell you why you're inferior, why you belong to America, America don't belong to you. You understand what I'm saying? Because they have real points. This is a real debate. When they say, well, you never built the civilization. Everything you've ever accomplished, you've accomplished at the behest of a white man. If you don't have examples, how can you debate that? You don't get him, whatever, white boy, ain't nobody done told me that I'm going to be. That's not going to win the debate. Man, I'll knock you out. That's not going to win the what? It's not going to win the debate. If he looks at you and says, name one civilization black people built. What you going to say? Good. Timbuktu is a university. The University of Timbuktu or University of Sankore in the Kingdom of Mali, right? Excellent. West African Kingdom. But how many of our homies know that? I ain't even know. Thank you. He's new. He just came to the Huru Academy. He's learning every day. How you loving it, though? Yeah, I like it. You like it, right? African-centered education is a part of the solution. We have to learn where we come from in order to understand where we are. And only when we understand where we are will we know where we can go moving forward. If you don't know what was, then you don't know what is. And if you don't know what is, you're not prepared for what's to come. So wise people study history. You understand that? Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You mentioned Dr. Stovall, who is also a friend of mine. That's what our connection is.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from him about how to do this?
What I learned from Dr. Stovall, the most important thing Dr. Stovall did for me to help change my paradigm, help me see things. Like our final test in Dr. Stovall's class, he had a Last Supper picture. Y'all seen the Last Supper with Jesus and the disciples? Well, he had one that had all black leaders on it. And you had to be able to name each leader and talk about what they accomplished. And it wasn't in the classroom. He had us meet him at his house. Right? And he used to tell little things to me like, Park, why in pool the white ball got to knock all the colored balls in? I'm like, huh? I said, why in pool all the balls got color and the white ball dominates and it gets to be the last ball on the table? And why is the black ball, you save that one for last? I'm just looking at stuff. Why do the good guys wear white and the bad guys wear black, Parker? Parker, why is angel food cake white and devil food cake chocolate? Yeah. Yeah. You know, he was changing my paradigm. And the most important thing that he taught me, though, was that learn this in order to teach others. Change your life. Let it change your life. Let it work changes in your life. But most importantly, if you can't give it to the next person, what are you doing? This ain't for you to feel high and mighty. I know something and you don't. No. From that class, I found my calling. I came home at the end of my first school year. After giving a speech, they asked me to give a speech at the little commencement ceremony. A freshman giving a speech at the commencement ceremony, right? And my speech was called, Why Didn't I Learn This Sooner? And I got on every adult in there. How did I study? I wasn't skipping class. How did I go to every class? How did I do all that study, do everything I was told to do, and didn't learn my history? Why y'all didn't teach me this before? Why am I a freshman in college just now learning my history didn't start with slavery? Shame on you. I don't care about no water fountain. I don't care about no back of the bus. I want to know who I am. I want to know where I came from. I don't care that IBM might hire me. I don't care that I might get to move out to Roanoke anymore. I want to know who I am. When I came home, I was losing friends to the streets. And I started organizing with the Nation of Islam. I had to find me a group that was speaking black, talking black, and doing black. And while I was rolling with my mentor in the nation, he took me out to Butler Housing. Butler Housing is the biggest project in Fort Worth, right? That's how I met your uncle Nim. Leroy is actually, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Uncle Nim. Y'all know what he's saying, right? I don't discourage that. I'm not going to stop him and say, no. That's how I met your uncle and the rest of your family. Or I'm not going to do that. Uncle Nim is smart. You took a 4-word phrase, made it a 2-word phrase. That's intelligence. That's not stupidity. Okay? I'm dead serious. Uncle Nim. Who didn't understand that? I'm sorry, I'm passionate about that. All right. That is where I met his Uncle Nim. He's the second generation of his family that I've taught. I came out there, and there's a brother out there by the name of Ricky Clark, and he was teaching a group of children, including his uncle. I know you know Ricky Clark, right? And he was teaching them black history and teaching them the step, right? And he was like, now you're with me. Yeah. So he's teaching them steps. So I'm sitting there, I'm a Sigma, by the way. I'm Phi Beta Sigma, right? And he's teaching them some steps and doing all the little old, the little old Alpha Train thing or whatever, and doing black history with. And I'm like, I started set tripping. I need to teach them a little Sigma step or something. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? I got to teach them a little something. I got to get them up here. I got to get them doing some, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, now at the time, I didn't think I liked children. Yeah, I was 18, 19, but I ain't want no kids around me, right? I just wanted to go fight white people at the time. I was young. For real, I really thought that we was going to free black people by the time I was 24. That all this is going to be changed around. We was going to launch a revolution. Well, he teaching. I'm like, man, can I teach him a step? He was like, yeah, And I go up to him, and it was a young man. He's transitioned now. We call him Wally Burr. He say, man, you look scared. A little bitty dude. Man, I ain't scared. I ain't scared. I was, though, right? In the projects. I'm black power, but now it done got real. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, now it done got real. I'm in the hood. I'm in the good hood now. And I'm from Stop 6. I ain't even supposed to be in Butler. You see what I'm saying? So I was a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? But this little dude's like, man, you look a little scared, man. You look a little nervous, He the shortest dude in there, right? I'm like, well, I'm good. He's like, don't worry, dude. I got you. Hey, y'all, he's finna teach us a step. Line up, man. Line up. He finna teach us a step. Boop, boop. And I'm just looking like, okay. Okay, because I don't know how to approach him. I'm picking it up, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I'm learning, though. I'm instantly like, wait a minute, I'm learning right now. This little man is teaching me how to talk to everybody in the room. Keisha, get up. You know what I'm saying? Ted. He went to Ted different. Yes. Short Ted. Yes. Ted Aaron. Yeah, Ted and Aaron. Yes. All right. Yes, this is a Butler descendant. So Ted, he went to Ted different though. Ted, that man say he gonna teach us a new step. Ted like, oh, him over there. Okay, he was bossing Keisha. Now he kind of being diplomatic with Ted. You see, because Ted had a different kind of attitude, right? Now, once he won Ted over, Ted made everybody else line up. So I'm learning. I said, oh, okay. I'm thinking I got something to give them. But I learned on day one, they had more to give me. So the children taught me how to teach. I had to become a listener. Dr. Stovall taught me that you can't teach if you can't listen. He also taught me that you're not making people Africans. And Kwame Ture said this too. I'm not making you. You already an African, brother. You already that. You already Nubian. You already that. All I'm doing is giving you a piece of information to tap into what's already what? It's already there. You already act like an African when you dance. Don't you? Yeah, you don't dance like this. No, you hear that song, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, That's Africa. That's Africa. That ain't here. We brought that over here with us. Y'all understand what I'm saying? A lot of dance we do in the club, we did 1,000 years ago in Africa. Twerking ain't new. Twerking ain't, Ashantis and Igbos been twerking for centuries. For centuries. Locks ain't new. You can go and see pictures of African kings that lived 5,000 years ago. I'm not playing with locks. Braids ain't new. Go look at that picture of Queen Nefertari that's over 4,000 years old in her tomb where she got on a long white silk gown with necklaces and bangles all on her arm playing chess. And with them braids coming down like that. The Africans can been braiding for centuries. Got some Africans braid their eyes closed. It's handed down. You more African than you know, right? So these children, they taught me that. They verified that. And I began to teach. I taught them a little step that day, you know. And they was like, oh, that was fun. You going to come back? Come back. I said, I'll think about it. And I left, and all I could think about was that experience. And it was just a voice telling me that, you know what, this is your contribution to the movement. You need to work with the youth. We kind of set in our ways as adults, you know. But them, they still very, 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 very moldable. Very moldable. So I went back, and I went back again. I ain't had no car. I used to ride the bus. 91A Crosstown. And at that time, it didn't even go into projects. Now, the bus dropped you off on Lancaster and Pine. And you had to walk into the project. They didn't go in there. I didn't care. Rain, sleet, or snow. I had to have it. I had to teach. And it convicted me. Because I'm like, okay, now that they see me, I have to watch how I am. I got to watch how I treat women. I have to watch how I treat other brothers. Because that convicted me. I have to be an example for them. Yes.
Did you ever get that light-skinned white girl?
No. Gave up on her halfway through the first semester, you know. When my paradigm shifted, right, and I learned about melanin. Right? Being melanin rich, right? And all the benefits of melanin and chocolate and dark and black just became so beautiful to me. Matter of fact, the first real girlfriend I had, and if my wife is watching this, you're the best, baby. You're the best. But the first girlfriend I had ended up being jet black from Liberia. Oh! The paradigm shifted. Not that I didn't still love light-skinned women, but I rediscovered dark-skinned women. Girls I used to call ugly, I looked at and say, you ain't, you, okay. I see it now. Yes. Okay. It'll shift your paradigm. And my wife, who is beautiful, I can say what's up in Koyo, Ojuo. My beautiful children, we have 8 children. Yeah. Now, we're a combined family. You know, a lot of our families are, right. When we got married, I had 2 sons. She had 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. And we've had 3 together. Yeah. We weren't trying to. Well, it happened. Right. And she's so amazing. She had her last 3 children over the past 5 years. She had them all natural at home. All natural at home after the age 35. You know. Yeah. My last 3 babies came out in my hands. Yeah, you know, and yeah, we blew up a little inflatable pool in the room and let's do it. No drugs. Yeah, but she got to tell you about that because I don't know what it felt like. I was there. But what I will say is that this black woman is the most amazing being on the face of the planet, you know, as far as I'm concerned. You understand what I'm saying? Based on my experience, you know. And so all my babies, they healthy, they strong, energetic. If I could bottle their energy, we'd all be rich. You know, they don't eat meat. They don't eat processed food. You know, we raising them on a different diet than what we were raised on, you know what I'm saying, just to maximize their potential. Like if you pull out a piece of chicken in front of my 3-year-old, she's going to look at you and say, that's chicken. Yeah, I don't eat meat. Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah. It's like, ugh, you know. Yeah, she stay eating noodles. You're right. They'll noodle it up. They'll vegetable it up, you know. And it's a trip when you introduce vegetables to your children early where they don't know no better. They'll eat it like it's candy. Eat a tomato or whatever like it's candy. It's the same with our history, y'all. When you introduce it early, eat it up like it's candy. You can't tell any of them that they come from slaves. You can't do that. They know better. Vincent, do you know the name of an African king?
Yes.
Who? King Zoser. Good job. Do you know the name of an African king? You just did a video on one. Uh-huh. You know the name of an African king? King Ma. There you go. King Mansa Musa. Good job. Good job. You know? All right. All right. You can't tell them that they come from slavery. And the reason why we do that, they're not caught up in the past, though. They understand that that's building them so they can go into the future. They're going to beat the enemy to the future, brother. They're going to invent something. They're going to create something because they know they come from creators. They know who built the pyramids. They know who built the University of St. Croix. They know that. They know that we enjoy prosperity for thousands and thousands of years before this commercial break in our history, and they're eager to get us back to where we belong. Is there anything wrong with that? Is there anything wrong? They know they're global citizens. They know they ain't got to grow up and get a job in America. They know they can get skills and catch on anywhere in the world. South America's waiting on you. Africa's waiting on you. Asia's waiting on you. Y'all understand what I'm saying? We expose them to those professions, those careers, and those opportunities. They talk to people who used to live here but live in Africa, who used to live here but live in South America. They visit our classroom. They video into our classroom so they can understand you don't have to live here either, that you are an asset to America. America's not an asset for you. Right. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that you can go and take your assets wherever you need to go. Stop settling for less like we do. Like we say, well, at least we making progress. No, I want all my human rights and my respect right now, or I'm taking my ball and I'm going home. Does that make sense? That don't sound violent, does it? No. It sounds like young people who are going to take ownership of this world. Yes. Yes. That is very possible. Matter of fact, I'm looking for a couple of interns right now. You know, so anyone interested in interning or volunteering or coming by, you just have to get in touch with me. You know, and I'll put my information up if that's cool. All right. But we need a couple of interns right now. One of the things we're doing that's really cool. One of our parents, and I like to acknowledge one of my fathers. That's Saif Muhammad L filming right there. All right. Doing his thing. These are his children up front. Our parents are very active in our school. One of our parents just built a website called teachmetopass.com. And it's a hub for instructors like Dr. Hill to put some online classes up and make a little extra money. And I need some interns to help me put content on this site. I have to put Carefree. I put Carefree on this website called readingbear.com, right? And it's a site where you go on and someone comes on and they give the vowel sounds to you, right? Like a little video, cat, right? But the only thing I hate about it is the little old blonde-haired lady that's doing it. I'd rather see you. I need interns to come in and sit in front of the computer and do a little video. Cat, ball. You see what I'm saying? Because we want to build our own Reading Bear type site for African children. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to put my info up here. Okay. Did y'all like that? Is that all right? Huh? All right. I talked to him last night. Yes, he is. He just got a new contract with Fort Worth ISD. He's trying to figure out a way to get me involved without telling Massive. Let me see. We have right now, not that many. I have about 13 students right now, right? I'm enrolling, but I'm limiting my enrollment this year because this is our 8th year. And this year we're focusing on our business plan, our corporate structure, and getting our advisory board busy. Yes. So that's what we're focusing on. Yes.
Do you need people who are willing to kind of choose your
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes. 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 Yes, absolutely, we do need that. We need that. Right now, I'm a lone wolf, staff-wise, as far as teaching-wise. So that's another reason why I'm keeping my enrollment down on purpose. I have people ready to come in, but again, getting some intern help, some volunteer help will allow me to open it up a little even more. All right? Yes.
So what times will that will be open for?
We will work it out, but we're in school Monday through Friday. Doors open at 7:30, and we're out at 3 o'clock. Okay? But we even have room to do something after school. So if somebody wants to do something between the hours of 3 and 6, we can work that out as well. Yes, Amin.ojuok, baba.amin.ojuok@gmail.com, and then that's our number right there. Okay? Yes.
Okay, so I need at least 10 hours for my social work.
Okay.
So is it okay if I
Oh, it's more than okay. Yes.
or
Yes. Call. Yeah. We don't disclose the address because we're a private school. But once, call me and we're going to talk and we'll make it happen. Okay. Our biggest issue is going to be you're going to want to do more than 10 hours. And that won't bother me at all. Okay. No. Actually, I don't want to romanticize nothing for y'all. It's a struggle doing what we do. My wife and I went through some economic struggles last year. Pastor leader, Dr. Michael Bell, donated his church to the school last year, right? But we didn't have a home. We was blessed with a home at the end of the semester. Got me a nice, big old pretty house too. It's good, right? And so I moved to school there. Yeah, so we have the school in my home right now, and we're online now too. So I also have students from other cities and other parts of the city that are homeschooled, but they log into our school every morning. And so they're in front of their webcam all day getting instruction from us. Yeah, so we got smaller so we can get bigger. You know what I'm saying? All right. All right. I appreciate y'all. Thanks for listening. All right. We just left Dr. Safisha Hill's Black Studies class at the University of Texas at Arlington. We were able to talk to the students about African-centered education, about our history. Of course, I put the Uhuru Academy Pharaohs on full display. We had a great time, and the feedback I got was all positive. We may even have pulled a couple of interns out of the class. So it was a great experience. I want to thank Dr. Safisha Hill for always inviting us out, and I want to thank the students for being so attentive.